Staying with that story for some analysis now, we are joined by Dr. Michael Louis, the chairman of the Independent Candidate Association, and he joins us now via our video link. Dr. Michael, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. Let's start off here, celebrating 30 years of the Constitutional Court. This is a major milestone for the country. What are your reflections?
No, I think that's definitely true. I've got a huge regard for the Constitutional Court. The listeners or the viewers might know that we started a constitutional application in 2016 already. And so I've really had about 7 years in the Constitutional Court process. And I think the Constitutional Court has definitely won the public's trust of being really an institution of integrity. We've totally trust their jurisprudence and the integrity of the judges. And I think they've come a long way in forming that. And the president's announcement tonight to make them totally independent is definitely a step in the right direction.
Certainly. And staying with that, Dr. Michael, I mean, we've heard this from a number of politicians, and they're the ones who are most of the time criticizing the judiciary and saying that they're calling for a more independent judiciary in the country. What do you make of some of those developments coming out from the president, saying that, you know, the efforts are underway to ensure that we do see an independent judiciary?
Well, I think that's right. You know, the big thing is we've also got experience of that with the landmark judgment that was in 2020 that independents can now stand in public office. But what happened is they interpreted the human rights and left it to Parliament to draft an electoral bill to give independents the right to stand. And what happened is we know that as de novo today, independents are still not represented in our parliament, which means there needs to be more a type of process where parliament will also affect laws that will interpret what the Constitutional Court really wants to see. And I think the independence where the government, where the Constitutional Court is not so dependent on government, could be a step in the right direction and make our democracy more vibrant and independent.
And taking a look at the country's democracy and the important role that the Constitutional Court has played, how important has that been, particularly when you look at this young democracy that we continue to see?
I love a constitutional state, and I think we've succeeded in many, many areas, but I think there's two areas that I would say that government needs to focus on. The one area is to give easier access to the public. Even although we've got direct access, it remains a very, very long process to get direct access. And also the funding is just absolutely huge. And there I want to congratulate all my peers as civil societies of really, they are the heroes in the story to make the Constitutional alive and to be interpreted correctly. But the second challenge for government is that our young people must start learning about the power of our Constitution, its rights, and what it really embodies. And if you look at the preamble, that everything belongs to the people. And I think if we embed our constitutional democracy from a young age in education in our schools, it will become more vibrant.
And maybe let's take a look at, you know, some of the landmark judgments we've seen from, you know, the Constitutional Court. What would you say stands out for you?
Well, I must be a bit biased in the sense is that obviously our landmark judgment is Section 19 of the Human Rights that said the Constitution says that everybody has got the right for public office, where the Electoral Act said that you have to belong to a political party. And so I think that the election of our public officers is such a landmark decision, and where it celebrates that every person has got the right for public office, and it shows that there's equality in our Constitution. So to me, that was really a landmark judgment. But the others were the AIDS, the access to all the HIV drugs, and there's so many others. And I think that the Constitutional Court can be so proud of the 30 years of really outstanding judgments.
And Dr. Michael, when you look at some of the challenges, that still presents itself, particularly when it comes to the Constitutional Court, something that you touched on a bit earlier on is the issue around direct access. What else do you think that the Constitutional Court really needs to deal with when it comes to some of the issues still plaguing the Constitutional Court that can be resolved?
Look, I think my personal experience is the question of it's easy to get easy access. I think that it's a nice tick box to have, but it goes about funding these court cases. And for instance, if they want you to go, I very seldom see them give you direct access. So it means you first have to go to a lower court, to a high court, then a Supreme Court, or however it is to get to the Constitutional Court. Now, I started the process with the Independent Candidates Association in 2016, and we only got judgment in 2020. Now, to carry 4 years of legal expenses of advocates, legal attorneys, professional witnesses, it really is an impossibility, and you're doing it because you want to have a democracy that's real and constitutional. But funding is a huge problem, and I think I would really like to see the Constitutional Court realize what can they do to assist to make our democracy more vibrant.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for your time. That's Dr. Michael Louis there, Chairman of the Independent Candidates Association, just giving us his insight when it comes to celebrating 30 years of the establishment of the Constitutional Court.